Pep's had his press conference and it's as clear as mud whether Haaland will play or not. That's because he's been bluffing in his past couple of press conferences. So what we'll do is include his data that we've already got in the analysis, which does include his expected minutes. We'll also make some assumptions at the end of the video, then we'll decide whether it's worth putting the captain's armband on him or not. Let's start by building the shortlist. First up, the man himself is meant to be playing against Brentford this game week. His two challenges are Salah against Southampton and Kane against Leeds. All three players on the shortlist this game week have the home advantage. Salah's the only midfielder on the shortlist, so he gets an extra point per goal scored and a clean sheet point potential as well. Firstly, we'll delve into the non-penalty stats per 90 minutes for this season. It's clear to see that Haaland towers over the other two players on the shortlist. I have mentioned on previous videos that his stats will regress at some point. Obviously he's not played enough minutes for that to happen, but that will probably happen in the near future. Even still, his underlying stats are good enough. They're the non-penalty stats. He's also the dedicated penalty taker for City. To be fair, Salah's on penalty duties for Liverpool and Kane's on pens for Spurs. The Englishman has a slight advantage over the other two players. He takes direct free kicks, whereas none of them take indirect free kicks or corners. Let's take a look at the probability of each player scoring or assisting. These odds are based on the assumption that each player plays 90 minutes. We'll review the expected minutes later on in the video. Haaland's got the best anytime goal scorer odds with 70%. Salah's got the best chance of assisting with 33%, but it is Haaland who's got the best anytime return odds. He's got a 7% higher chance of success than Salah, but don't forget that that's if he plays the full match. Salah gets an extra point per goal scored, which is 20% higher, therefore Salah edges it on the weighted odds. So with there being a fraction between the weighted odds, I'd say Haaland wins this section because of the higher chance of returning. It's worth pointing out that Kane's in third place on both markets. He doesn't fare well on the points projections either. He's got the lowest on Fantasy Football Fix and the lowest on Fantasy Football Scout. Haaland's got the highest tally overall with Fantasy Football Fix on 8.7 and Salah's got the highest on Fantasy Football Scout with 7.7. Salah's 0.6 behind on the Fix and Haaland's 0.5 behind on the Scout. You could say Haaland's the winner of this section, but there's barely anything between them again. There's not much to split the opposition's defences this game week. They've all conceded 1.7 goals per 90 minutes. To be fair, the expected goals conceded are better at projecting future goals conceded than the actual goals conceded themselves. Therefore, by a small margin, you can say that Leeds have got the worst defence, then Brentford, then Southampton. Whilst we're on the topic of defences, Liverpool's clean sheet odds at Anfield against Southampton this game week are roughly 50%. Therefore, at the toss of a coin, Salah might get that clean sheet point, which is a nice advantage. Before we draw up a conclusion, let's carry out a quick risk assessment. Kane featured in the Cup midweek just under a few days before this fixture. That's not concerning though because he only featured for 59 minutes. Salah and Haaland have had roughly a week's worth of rest, so there's nothing to worry about there. But something to worry about is whether Haaland plays or not. He's got 76 expected minutes, while Salah and Kane have got reliable expected minutes. Pep did say in the press conference that we'll see about Haaland, and he's getting a little bit better, and I would take that with a pinch of salt. Could be bluffing like he has recently and Haaland misses out, or he could be double bluffing and Haaland plays the full match. It's up to you whether you take a punt on him. I'd rather play it safe and pick a play that's still reliable enough, and that's Mo Salah. If you want to see the players who I'm tipping as the best single game week punts dead ending into game week 16, make sure you check out my team selection video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you don't miss any of these videos, and I hope you enjoyed the World Cup.